Hey, this is Jan Clifton-Gaw, and I'm here today to help you learn about the past framework for managing ankle injuries, something we have a lot of, but have not managed to come in with a really good format. When we get done this evening, I hope that you're going to be able to jump right in and implement this into your own current clinical practice. Now, it says 7 days, but I think some of this you could use tomorrow, and that's what I hope. We give you a little nugget of information. Um, Also, that you'll be able to really think about coming up with a few more patient-focused return to play activities that really suit our patient population. I know we're really good at a lot of that, but hopefully this will trigger a few more um, changes in our behaviors as clinicians. And ultimately, that you'll be able to take this back to your own practice and talk with your coworkers about it and why this might be a good framework to adopt because of the, you know, hindrance of chronic ankle instability and that we've been doing this slipshod for decades. So I think ultimately this initiative came out of the very simple fact that before 2020, there wasn't anything published about return to play as it dealt specifically with lateral ankle injuries. And that's one of the most common things. And I venture to guess in looking back, it's because it was so common. No one wanted to step out of their comfort zone and go out on a limb and try to create something clean and easy to implement that was valid and reliable. And I think that's probably how we ended up where we are today. And although this does have some issues, I think it's a good place that we've started. And hopefully I'll be able to convince you of that tonight. Now, just as a quick poll and discussion with everyone, if I had a patient athlete walk in to your facility today, how would you say that they were able to go back to participation? How would you verify that right now? What was one thing that you would do to say, you know what, I think you can, or whoa, I don't think you can? What's one thing? Kaylin, can you give me one thing?
Functional progression.
Okay, you would do a functional progression. Okay. Sport specific or just general?
So I have one for field sports and one for court sports.
Okay, cool. All right. All right. Warren, what's one thing?
We do a lot of treadmill progressions. We're track, so not a lot of
Okay.
instability on their ankle. So as long as when they can run in a straight line and maybe on a once we figure out if they can run a curve, they're good.
Okay. Thank you. Haven?
I was gonna also say like sports specific functional stuff, but uh to be unique, I'll say bilateral like function like measurements. So making sure that their affected ankle is within the appropriate range of their unaffected
Okay.
ankle.
And you know what? It's okay to be the same if that's what you're doing. Don't worry about that. We're all talented clinicians. Adam, one thing that you would do today.
Um, I would just let the person try the drills that he or she is about to do. Actually, I don't have a fixed tool to do that. So
Right. So, and if I would answer that, I would say, can they do what they're supposed to do sports wise? So we're all in the same place. So let's expand our horizons here a little bit and try to come up with something that might be a little more valid and objective in measurements. So what happened in the late teens? I guess that's 2019 or so. They did this over several years because of the idea of using the Delphi platform of research. You have to have people rate things independently of each other. These 155 people uh, from all over the world had to really sit down, look at the schemes of things that were being proposed, rank them, and then decide whether they would actually implement them or not. And it took time. It took 3 years to come up with all of this. because after they did their initial run through, they reorganized things and deleted some things immediately, and then they went back and streamlined it, and then they kind of really polished it in the third year that they did this. So ultimately, for you to be included in this, you had to have 70% of the panelists saying that they were either for you being included, or 70% of them doing the big thumbs down and saying, no, this is not something we would use as a valid, reliable measurement. So this return to play, this PASS acronym, less than half of the items that we would typically include were eliminated. So 70% of the people said no. Or 70% of a vote for an item was no, I wouldn't use that as something that's appropriate. Of that, they created 5 categories or domains. And, the pain during and after sports participation was important because that's a patient centered, given to us by them measurement. And that's important to incorporate their values into whatever we're doing. Pretty broad spectrum idea of this ankle impairment. And then they go back and they dig a little deeper into the athletic perception, or how they feel that they're going to be able to participate, or that they're going to be re-injured, or they really dig in a little bit deeper to that. And then this idea of sensoromotor control. Are they going to hurt themselves somewhere else because of deficiency in their ankle? And then what we all would have chosen, again, their functional performance activities in their sport. So we collectively all missed the first 4. We didn't even address it, but that's okay because I only asked for one thing. Now, again, this idea of pain, and they're talking about when you're actually participating, but also this over the past 24 hours. They didn't say if that was from morning throughout the day, it stayed with them, or if they were just stiff in the morning and they thought that was pain. They did not quantify that, and I wish they had gotten a little deeper in that, because it'll tell us a little bit more about the tissue that's actually involved. The impairments, again, these were a little more objective measurements about that we could perform: the range of motion, muscle strength, endurance, power. But what we don't see there is swelling. And we always say, oh my gosh, your ankle's so swollen you can't play. Well, that's not even something that they include here. They do get some patient-centered information. Whether they're confident to do it, and I think over time I certainly do ask, and have asked in the past, how do you feel? Do you think we can do this? And I'll immediately assess whether they're like, yeah, no problem, or I'm not sure. And the I'm not sure's have to really do exceptionally well on their functional progression before they're going back. I have to convince them that they're going to be okay before we're going to return them to play in that situation. And then just the overall idea of ankle stability. The way this is listed, that might be more kinesiology related or kinesthetic awareness, or it's something along there. The stability was pretty vague. Here we're really diving into a more functional activity about proprioception, balance, control, to eliminate other injury, about returning them back to play. Then we get into what we all do. Hey, we're going to run them through a progression. We're going to make sure they can do sport-specific drills, and we're going to make sure that they can complete a full training session prior to participation. And I think many of us miss that one. If I could ask you guys to get your smartphones out. Thank you for that. The chiming was a little interesting in the background. You can either do it on the app or go to kahoot.it. And I'm going to go ahead and switch screens a little bit here. So give me 1 second. I can get away from this for a second. All right. going to.
It says in show at the bottom if you want to.
Okay, well, okay, I'll come back to this exactly. All
Or
right.
maybe push the escape button on here.
Thank you for that. That's not going to help me. Give me 1 second and we'll end this, and then we'll come back to it to finish it up. There we go. We'll just click through. All right. Now, I heard that some of you were traumatized by Kahoot, and for that, I'm sorry. That was a painful experience for you. That's not my intention to traumatize you tonight.
I just hope
And
you all are ready to lose.
oh, well, I hear a little competition there. All right, I've got my.
Is there a prize?
Oh well, maybe at DAT weekend. I'll
Loading
have a prize.
rights.
I'll have a prize for you.
It will be for me.
It's getting here. Can you see my screen loading?
I
Because
cannot.
I've got a pause here. Hang on a second. Okay.
You might have to unshare.
Yeah, I'm gonna
unshare.
stop. I'm gonna stop and go back to it. Thanks, guys. Okay, here we go. I asked it to do something it couldn't do. All right, here we go. Sorry, you're gonna have to work fast, guys. 3 questions. All right, here we go. Now, so I hope you have a fun time with your aliases. Being a little slow today. That's okay.
Hold on.
All right, the game pin is loading, so we'll let you guys be crazy. So 6571748, or use that QR code. We'll get you guys in here. There'll be no bloodshed today. Uh-oh, what is this doing automatically starting? No. Okay. We got you all in here. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Well done. Okay, a little bragging rights there. Okay.
Dang.
Warren, you're going down.
True and false. We're gonna see who is fastest there. You guys are so fast, the screen is taking its time. Here we go. Okay.
Told you.
Competitive. Okay, I will give you the points for that disagreeing. That's okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
Hold on.
I want to recount.
Hold
oh
on.
my goodness,
Hold
no.
on. I thought that it would be correct in the disagree because the previous question kind of correlated with the disagree.
Okay,
A
well,
good
I will
point.
give
That is a
you
good
that, my
point.
friend.
I don't care.
I'm just
Don't
saying.
win.
I'm just saying.
I don't care, Warren. I want you to get over it.
I disagree. I disagree. I disagree. 100%.
Oh my goodness, you guys are so competitive. I love it. Okay, so with that in mind, and we'll have something fun at DAT weekend for that. I really think that although this is a great framework to give us, oh come on, guys, a solid platform to start with, that we can interact with other professionals in a way that is objective. I mean, we've got some things missing here. Warren, what is one other thing that you would use personally that wasn't included in that 16? What would you add to it, or what would you hope to see?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I would like to say like it says on the screen, like the FAM.
Mm-hmm.
I used it for an athlete earlier in the year, and it did well. Like he didn't return until he was about 90% on the FAM.
Good. So that was, so in your world, that was sufficiently sensitive to work.
Hmm.
Okay. Haven, what would you include, or what have you included that you wish you would see here?
I would have to say it kind of lines up with what Warren said, but just PROs in general.
Yeah, I was surprised that that wasn't there too, but I think most of these people were physicians, and old school physicians that were very set in their ways. I think that could have been why they left that off. But I think as DAT professionals in the making, we're going to do a good job incorporating our patient values. Kaylin, what would you like to see here?
I'd like to see, like, I know they say they have like functional progression, but they don't have any like actual like performance tests.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a great idea. Adam, anything you would love to see that wasn't, or that you would use every day that's not on this list?
Maybe psychological readiness.
I like that. How would you assess that?
No, I don't like using outcomes, but I would just ask the person, hey, like, if 100% is like full go, like, what percentage do you feel you're ready today? So,
I
yeah.
like that. OSHA uses that standard for all of the patient information we have to record. So yeah, that's right on there. I think the big thing that really struck me was this idea that we have to come up with a better way to consistently have a basement, a minimum standard of what the return to play is. And I think this was their way to begin that process. Should there be more discussion about this? Absolutely. But certainly in our world, where we're dealing with aggressive people. But anyway, just so you know, I think this is going to be something that's going to be evolving, I hope. Now, I appreciate your time today. I have previously sent you, before the session that you signed up for, a quick review that I would of the performance tonight, and some questions about your implementation process going forward, and the actual article that this material came from, and it gives us a better idea of the Delphi research process, which was very interesting to comprehend. So does anyone have any questions? All right. I love your competitiveness, guys, and thank you for your time tonight. Have a good day.